Limitless Nation. Today you're in for an absolute treat. You get to learn directly from Peter Wolfing. Peter Wolfing is a lifelong entrepreneur with over 30 plus years of experience. He is a best-selling author, he is a business owner, and most of all, he is a husband and a father. His journey to make a positive difference has led him all over the world, meeting and networking with many successful people, from Brian Tracy to Henry Gold to Darren Hardy to Sir Richard Branson. And the best part about all this is he has managed to accomplish all of this without ever having an office. In today's masterclass, you are going to learn from the master himself, Mr. Peter Wolfing. Let's dive into it.
Well, before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. It allows you to receive notification about every single time we have uploaded a new video and showing you how to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to dig deeper on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donna Vaughn at huntyourfuture.com. It will show you how you can hunt your future on every aspect of your being. Plus, you're going to receive tips and secrets on what you need to do to tackle your days on a regular basis. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Welcome, Peter Wolfing.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for contacting me, Donovan.
You're most welcome, and we are absolutely thrilled to have you here. Tell us, is there anything that we missed in the bio that you would like to share with the Limitless Nation?
Well, it's a short piece to be able to say for 30 years of working online, but I guess some little tidbit that people don't know is I do have a twin, but it's not a twin brother, it's a twin sister. So we, obviously we don't look alike, duh, but yeah, I do have a twin sister, and we get along great, and it's something that most people aren't aware of.
That's exciting. I myself have a twin brother, so I can understand a little bit.
Yeah, it's you have this little connection going on, and I always wonder if that was true, and we do have some things that we have these little ailments as you kind of get older, and she goes, I have this, and I said, wait a minute, I had that 2 weeks ago. So sometimes you have those connections, that go on, and brother and sister and twins.
Oh, it is absolutely true. Like 3 weeks ago, my brother hurt his hand doing something. I have no idea what. That very day, and I was on the complete other side of the state, my hand starts hurting.
Oh, weird.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And another example is like 3 years ago, he scratched his cornea. Exactly a year later, I scratched my cornea doing something completely different. That's the way it has been for our entire life.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's it's you try to figure out sometimes why that thing happens, but sometimes you just have to go with the flow. It's just the way it is, and it's a strange thing though, but just count our blessings, and that you're able to have that experience.
It is. It's brought us closer. I mean, at times it's like I want to hug him, and at other times it can be exciting. Absolutely exciting. Yes, you got it. But now here at the Limitless Nation, we do have a tradition of starting each and every single interview out with a limitless quote or mantra. Do you have a quote or mantra that you have embedded into your life?
Yeah, it's I'm a very big believer in not only just books, but really diving deep into books. And one of the things that I love to do is I do book studies that we might take one book and do for 4 to 8 weeks. Really dive deep into books. And one of the books I really like a lot it's because it's quite an old book, came out in around 1910, the beginning turn of the century, was the book by Wallace Wattles. And Wallace Wattles was an author before Napoleon Hill. And, he talks about being rich and the power of being rich and what rich really is, right? And the quote that he has in his book was that, really, I'll paraphrase here so people can kind of understand the gist of where he's going to. And I'm paraphrasing in that he's talking that people really are the same. The rich people and the people that at that time are not rich, they all do this. They all are the same type of people. They put their pants on the same way. But really the only difference is that the people that are rich do things in a very specific way, okay? And so if you take that knowledge that, wow, people think that rich people are different than me. They got this little something, and it's really not true. They have this dedication, this power to be able to consistently do things over time. And do things means they do things in a very methodical, specific way to get the accomplishments that they want. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to pass on to people, is that concept that anyone can accomplish anything that they want as long as they do things in a very specific, methodical way and not just intellectually. Okay.
So in order to get to what you want, you have to first decide what you want, but then follow the steps to go from point A to point B.
Yes.
I like that. Now, in your journey for the sake of conversation, we'll go from, say, point A to point B. But in that journey, what would be a challenge that you've had to overcome in getting to where you are right now?
Well, one of the big challenges that I've had being, and I've been an entrepreneur since I can remember. I didn't know what it was. I mean, at age 5, I always knew I liked to do these types of things, buying, selling, and creating things and businessy type things. I learned that by seeing my mother be an entrepreneur as well too. So I guess that was a big factor. So one of the things that I wanted to be able to overcome over time was that I had to be able to overcome the thought that I was worth more than I thought I was. Let me give you an idea of what I was talking about. As I became a teenager into becoming a young man, I thought that I was defined by what I did as far as a job or an occupation or something, and making $25 or $50 an hour was the maximum that I could possibly reach in my life. And once I understood that, my awareness became bigger, that it is possible to earn more, right? Then you can earn $100, $200, $500 an hour more. You know, if you don't know, $500 an hour is $1 million a year. And once your awareness is that, wow, I really can do that. And John Maxwell, in his books, the Powers of Growth and so on, he talks about this lid concept, that your lid gets bigger. So if you can understand that fact that you are worth more, and you have to lift the lid off of the preconceived notions and beliefs that you were taught when you were younger, that you can accomplish any kind of amount of money that you want to, but you're only going to be able to accomplish what you believe you can accomplish as far as dollars. So if that's lifted off and you say, I can earn 100, 500,000, you will. But if you don't realize that you are capable of that, you're never going to out-earn what your self-worth is.
So it all starts in the mind.
Everything starts in the mind first. So we create things twice, first in our mind, then it becomes physical. So you have to be able to believe it. What you think about, you become. I mean, scholars have fought over thousands of things over the years, but one thing they always come to a consensus with is that what you think about, you become. So you have to be able to think that you can do it. And many books have been written about this, and that's one of the things I really dive deep into is this concept of thought, and to be able to think out of any problems that you have to be able to accomplish anything.
Now, again, throughout your journey, what would you say would be the biggest, we call it an aha moment, where everything changed and went from here to here?
Yeah, the great aha. I had thought about that quite a few times in the past, and it always came out to one moment, I'd say about 12 years ago, when I thought at that time, around 1998, or well, I guess maybe 20 years ago, I thought about that time that it was about working hard, okay? If you ask anybody, do you work hard? They all say, yes, I work hard. At least most of them do anyway. So, and I thought it was about working hard. I thought it was about how many sales I could make, how hard I can work to be able to do that. And I'm like, wow, everybody works hard, but why do some people are seeming to work less than I am, but making 10 times more money than I am? So it must not be about working hard. So as I started to dive into personal development, I started actually getting a mentor and a coach, because before then I was always getting cheap on myself, right? I didn't want to spend the money to do it. I figured I could learn it by myself. Oh, it's too much money, these types of things, and these kinds of negative beliefs. And I found that by being able to think differently, that maybe it's not about how hard I work. Maybe it's about being able to think outside of that. Maybe it's about being able to help more people, because you hear people say that, but a lot of people think about it as it's just some airy-fairy thought. Oh yeah, right. But it's really true. If you stop focusing on the money, then you focus on other people and on contribution and helping and assisting people. The money becomes a byproduct, and people stop seeing you as a salesperson. They stop seeing you as someone that's trying to push something on them, and you focus on how can I solve your problem. Then everything changed. So because people can feel that, right? There's this vibration that happens between people, and people can see, listen, wow, they're really not out for themselves. How can I help you? What can I bring to you? What resource can I help you to solve your problem? Everything changed. My business went like the proverbial hockey stick. It went like this and just took off. And I was able to go from just 10 or 20,000 people in my business to over the last 15, 20 years going to over 2 million people. So it was a big change in thinking. And then it's almost like trying to catch butterflies, right? You try to catch butterflies, you can't quite do it. And then when you relax, it just happens, right? The same thing with earning money. If you relax and stop focusing on the brass ring and you focus on helping other people, then it'll just happen. As long as you keep on doing behind the scenes what you're supposed to do, it'll happen.
Okay. So basically you need to take a deep breath and relax and actually start thinking about what value can I provide and how can I serve people.
Right, because most people out there, what they're trying to do is they try to give the market the product that they want instead of finding out what the market wants and give them what they want. So, and then the online marketing type of things that I do, it's if you stop focusing on that and try to ask them questions on what problems are you having. Usually it's financial, but it can be health related, or it could be relationship related. And does what you offer, your product, your service, your mentorship, your coaching, whatever it is, can help them? Then you start to be the proverbial doctor to help them to solve their problem, because that's what doctors do. They just don't prescribe. They ask questions and then they prescribe. So it's going in with that mindset that, and then you stop becoming pushy, and then you relax, and they can see that intuitively. They can see that, and you make many more sales, and then they can see, wow, they're really looking at it in a different perspective, and you'll just convert much better.
Yes. Now, Peter, what are you working on right now? Because I know you're a very busy individual, but I'm curious, what are you working on right now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
Wow. We always, what we do is we have projects going months and months out, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So there's always something in the kitty that's going in different time frames. But one of the projects that we have right now that is just really getting launched is a project called U Economy. Thus, the letter U means you, and economy meaning that everybody can become their own economy, and you can become sovereign over your life. And for those that maybe are unfamiliar with that word, it's just basically meaning master of your own domain. And you do that through knowledge and education. Education is the great equalizer. Everyone knows that if you can educate yourself, they can strip away everything and you can start over like that anywhere in the world. It's a wonderful feeling that you feel, listen, they can take everything from me and I can start anywhere, just plot me anywhere in the world and I can make money because it's here, right? So we give them the knowledge and the skills to be able to do that through the U Economy system and educational platform. And it's kind of a culmination of a lot of things I've been doing for 20 some odd years, and putting that through the U Economy platform.
And can you share with the Limitless Nation and viewers and listeners what the link to that is?
Sure. If you'd like to find out more about it, I'll give you actually one special link for it. And the reason why I'm saying quote unquote special, because I'm a former United States Marine Corps sergeant, so I have a affinity for people in the service, and whoever's been watching, if you were or are in the service, thank you for your service. I teamed up with a lieutenant colonel of the Army. His name is Mark Green, and he was in Afghanistan and everything, very, very a decorated person. We put this together and to target and help specifically veterans to be able to give them a helping hand up. Not something that's free, but a helping hand up. So when you go to this funnel, yes, it's geared for anyone. It says veterans, but it's geared for anyone. But go in there, you'll see it'll be geared for veterans. When you get some autoresponder letters, the vernacular is all geared to veterans. But again, it's for anyone. It's www.wealthierliving.com/Peter. Wealthierliving.com/Peter. Nice funnel, videos, the whole deal. You'll be able to see all of what we're doing, the concept, the idea of what we're doing with U Economy. And again, if you're not a veteran, you'll still be able to get the whole concept and gist of what we're talking about.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your service. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, with you helping so many people and having an impact on a very large spectrum of people, what is some of the advice that you have been given in your journey that you can share with the Limitless Nation?
Sure. Wow. There's so many, especially from the mentors that I have worked with directly, but also like Darren Hardy from Success Magazine and just many, many, many other people. One of the big things that I want to pass on to everyone is you have to get a mentor. mentor, you have to get a coach. If you think you can do it by yourself, you're wrong, okay? And the mentor does not have to be alive, okay? That's something that people have to think. It has to be somebody alive. No, it doesn't, okay? I've studied from people from the Bible to Wallace Wattles to think The Science of Getting Rich was the book I was talking about before. Napoleon Hill, John Maxwell is obviously still alive, leadership coach, on and on and on. Ryan Holiday, I mean, go on and on. So be insatiable about learning information. So one of the big things that I learned is from a concept is that people think, oh, I'm going to get rich, the word get in quotes, I'm going to go get rich. One of the quotes that really floored me, but it took me a while to kind of really conceptually figure it out. And it says, you don't get rich, you make it welcome in your life. And when I first heard that, I'm like, wow, okay, sounds fancy, but what does it mean? What does it mean? It took me a while to kind of dissect it and figure it out. And then what it basically means is that, like I was saying, you don't go and try to work to become successful. You don't go try to get it. You just make it welcome, and you make your environment and your thinking patterns and the way you think and you do, and you feed it. So this way it's welcome in your life, and then it comes toward you and draws toward you. And this is all this universal type of energy that I talk about in a lot of the teachings that I do. One of the books I wrote is called Vibrational Riches. So it's in that whole concept. And Napoleon Hill talks about it. Genevieve Behrend talks about it. Your Invisible Power. Wallace Wattles talks about it. I mean, it's so pervasive right now, which is fantastic. And it's really in a lot of personal development stuff. But if you get that concept, is you don't go get it. You actually have to make it welcome. So this way it comes to you. And it's a big concept. So think about that over the next week or so and see if you can kind of get the same idea and same conclusion that I got when I got it. But it's profound.
Right. So you're not actually going out and actively getting something. You're becoming something that attracts wealth to you.
Yeah, exactly. You're making your environment conducive to it to be coming to you. So it's like you're fertilizing your thoughts, because you are what you think about. What you think about, you become. So you have to guard what's the environment coming into you, in your eyes, your ears, like a pit bull. I mean, the news and all these things. I very rarely watch TV anymore. So and the people that are around you are a big thing as well too. So you have to guard what goes in, and then you have to feed it. So basically, from those few different things, the way you feed yourself is one major reason why you can, again, make it welcome to you, so that this way the current of money, that's another major concept, is that, what is money? Money is just the value that we give it. So why do they call the Forex market the currency market? Because it flows like a current, okay? And money is just the value that we do give it. So if it flows, you make it welcome to you, you change your environment to make it welcome to you, then you can actually mold it. We have the will to mold our environment, and then you can make these different options available to you. And if you're constantly feeding yourself with this new wisdom that you're getting through the books and ideas and concepts in mentorship and coaching, then you're able to recognize when these chances come your way, such as meeting Henry and Tom and many other people, that you're able to recognize these opportunities when they come your way. But if you're not doing that, then your vision isn't clear enough, and they just pass by you because you don't see it. So it's all planting a fertile environment around you, so that this way, when they happen, you can recognize it.
Right. And part of that environment is habits. Do you have a singular habit that you can attribute to your current success?
Yeah, I am relentless. And I guess I got that when I was in the Marine Corps. Is we have a saying that you improvise, you adapt, and you overcome. And one of the great books that I read was by Ryan Holiday, and he talks about being able to give different perspective around things, and to be able to look at different things in a different way. And my Marine Corps background teaches me those different types of things. So one of the reasons why my company has been around over 20 years is because I improvise, adapt, and overcome. I expect things to happen. So Ryan talks about the stoicism and being able to expect things that are going to happen to you, and so on. So this way, I'm very rarely blindsided from something. And I get up very, very early in the morning, usually 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. And I like to read. I like to meditate. I like to get out and exercise and do things well before everyone else, and to start these little successes along the way. So by the time people even get up, I already have a lot of successes under my belt, and a lot of little successes build upon big successes. So that pattern in the morning of doing that, I learned when I was in the Marine Corps, of making your bed correctly, and signing your shoes, and putting your clothes on, a uniform on correctly. All these little things have inherent habits that happen that you can bring into your personal life life and your civilian life, even if you were not in the military, doesn't matter, that you can build on these small habits over time, which lead to bigger habits. So you don't have to necessarily try to wait for the home run, which most people try to do. They try to get that lottery, and everything else doesn't matter, right? It's the little things over time that build up to be something that can be massive over time that most people don't pay attention to.
Now, Peter, also in your journey that you're still on, what would you say is a resource that you can give to the Limitless Nation to help them on their journey?
Great. I have one resource that I just finished a few months ago that really speaks to a lot of the concepts and ideas that I learned when I was in the military. And it's a book called The Warrior Within, and it's free. It's a free PDF for you. And you can go and get that through domesticating, fear.com. And it goes over the concept, the way we used to domesticate fear. If you think of a dog, if you have a dog and you domesticate the instincts from the dog to be able to do what you want them to do, and that's what they did with us in the military, is instead of putting us into battle and we would run away from the bullets, right, and the bombs, they would domesticate us to the fear, so this way, if it does happen, we run to it. And so you can reverse engineer that if you're aware of it. It all starts with awareness. If you're aware of that and having a perspective on hard work and what hard work really means, and being tough and so on, and I talk a lot about that in the book, and you can reverse engineer that into civilian life and the work ethic of an entrepreneur. So if you go to domesticatingfear.com, you can download that. It's only a 60, 70-page book. It's in full color, and I think you'll get a lot of benefit out of that to be able to use that in your entrepreneurial ventures.
I agree, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys are going to love it. I've got a lot of great feedback on it.
Yes, I actually had a chance to go through it, and I do highly recommend that you guys check out this book by Peter Wolfing. Now,
all right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Like I said, it is very well written. I learned a lot. And fear is actually one of those things that does hold back a lot of people. But the trick is just face it and continue moving forward.
It seems like a brick wall, doesn't it? But it's paper thin. It's paper thin, and it's just, you just got to take that first initial step to get through it, and then after that, it's no big deal. You're like, oh wow, that wasn't a big deal, right? Yeah. But it can seem like a brick wall when you're trying to do it, and all of these beliefs that we've been put onto us since the day we're born, and which cause us to act the way we act. And one of the great things that you can do is that if you act a certain way or afraid of something, try to peel the onion back a little bit and say, okay, why do I think that way? Why do I think that way? Why do I think that? And you kind of peel it back. So I do a lot of trainings that talk about peeling the onion back, and you try to say, okay, well, that's the reason why I feel that way. Now you go and reverse engineer it to try to replace it with a new habit, and thus you can overcome that habit. So, but the first step is being aware and recognizing what's causing you to act that way or not act some way that you want to act.
Okay. Yes, I agree with that. I've also learned in my short experience in life so far, but most people are comfortable being uncomfortable, and they fear change more than they actually want whatever it is that they're going after, because what they want is just on the other side of change, just on the other side of fear.
Yeah, absolutely. They want, they're in this comfort zone, right? And they want to go beyond that, and the fear, the terror barrier is right after that. And most people don't get out of that comfort zone. But if you get out of that into the next level, which is the terror barrier, then that becomes your new set point. That becomes your new comfort zone. So really the answer to that riddle basically is you're always in a comfort zone. So even if you go out and you expand, well, that becomes your new comfort zone. Now that's a new terror barrier. You expand it. Now that's a new comfort zone. That's a new terror barrier. So you mentioned earlier, Donovan, it's I'm always growing. It never ends, right? So success is just a daily progression throughout your whole life of being more than you were the day before, and growing and understanding that it's always going to be terror, So you can be stuck at $50,000 a year, but you can be stuck at $500,000 a year, because that's your terror barrier. That's your set point. That's what you think you're worth. And then you have to expand beyond that. And so it's all relative. Dollar amounts really don't matter. So you're going to do the same work now than you are in any other venture, so why not add a few commas to it? It doesn't matter. So the work is going to be there anyway. So because dollar amounts don't really matter. The one thing that I learned that I'll pass on to you guys as well, you might like, is that the universe really doesn't care what you're doing, right? It's really the universe looks as far as like gravity. One of the universal principles of the universe is gravity, right? And do you think the universe cares or is it going to take any more effort to hold an ant on the ground than an elephant? It's like irrelevant, right? So size doesn't matter. So if size and income doesn't matter, why not add some commas, right? So why work hard to earn the electric bill when you can work hard to be a millionaire? It's the same thing, right? In the universe's perspective on everything, it's the same thing. So do that, so have a bigger perspective and work and extend your dream out instead of having this short dream, one of the things that people do sometimes is they hit their dream when it's so close to them, right? They have to expand it out further and reach beyond what their dream has, because usually their dream has come closer and closer as you get older because you've been domesticated, right? A lot of ideas and concepts that I'm throwing at you in just a short period of time, but I just wanted to see some things in there that there's so many ideas and concepts to learn, that just to go out there and just find a mentor, find a coach, somebody you resonate with that can feed this information to you and guide you throughout your process of growth and your entrepreneurial ventures, and you'll do fine.
Absolutely. Now, if you could take a step back throughout your journey and start back possibly at the most difficult spot, is there any one thing that you would have done differently to get to where you are now?
Yeah, there's, if you think back in your life, my life, there's usually a few key moments that you could say, wow, if I made this decision this way versus this way, my life would be totally different, right? You think? So I guess one of the big things that I did that really changed the direction of my life is that when I was in the service, I was actually going to stay in the service. They offered me maximum money to stay in. I enjoyed it, did really well with it. I went to college at night. I actually had 2 businesses at night. So I just try to max everything out when I'm doing it. And one fateful day, my mom calls me up on the phone. She says, hey, we're opening up a restaurant. I need you. And that changed my life. So got into the restaurant business. And I think the same day I got off the plane, I was in washing dishes. And so I got into the restaurant business. And I wish I would have learned this a little bit quicker, but it took me about 5 or 6 years of pain and heartache to figure this out. And I saw in traditional business the pain and heartache of how hard it really is to do traditional business and why 95% of the people fail. I saw my parents put up their home and remortgage their home. They had about 6 months left to pay. They put it into the restaurant business. They lost their home. They lost their marriage. They lost everything in that business. And I don't say that to really make people feel sorry for me or my parents. I'm just saying that as a perspective, and that you can learn from anything. And so it took me a long time to learn that you can learn from anything that happens to you. So one of the things that I can pass on to you, last, I guess, golden nugget, is that if you hit anything that's a low point in your life, there's always going to be an upside, right? There's the law of polarity. There's always positive and negative. There's night and day. There's, winter and the summer. There's seasons that go along. So you have to have a perspective, and you can turn that. It took me a long time to figure that out. And I felt a lot of pain for many, many years beyond when that happened. And so it took me probably 15, 20 years to kind of figure that was actually jettison point for me to go into online marketing, because when the restaurant closed, it forced me to move from outside New York to inside New York, and I met my wife, right? And if that would have never happened, I would have never met my wife, and then I wouldn't have gone into internet marketing, and I wouldn't be a millionaire. So so you look at that and you're like, wow, that's really painful, and it caused a lot of stuff, but you grow from that, and because that happened, I grew. So it's always look at everything that happens, that I wouldn't necessarily say they happen for a reason, but you can find a golden nugget in there somewhere that you can use to be able to grow. So there's always a way around something, and if there isn't, you can find a way to learn from it. Is basically what I'm saying. So that's the kind of the nugget that I wanted to pass on to everyone before we get loose today and leave.
Well, there's always something to be grateful for, no matter what happens to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it took me a long time to figure that out, but as I do retrospect and I kind of peel the onion back, I was like, wow, that's one of the worst days of my life, but also one of the best days of my life. And thinking about it retroactively, that if that didn't happen, so many other things would not have happened for me.
Right. Now, Peter, can you share with the Limitless Nation where we can find out more about you, what you're working on, how to connect with you, and just say hi?
Sure, I'd love to. Of course, you can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Peter Wolfing. That's tough because I'm always maxed out with people. So that's tough, although I'm posting on there all the time. I'm very, very active. If you go to Peter Wolfing, WOLFING.com, peterwolfing.com, loads of resources on there. You can read a lot of posts that I put on my blogs. That my contact information is over there. You can also go to peter@ueconomy.com and contact me, and I'll point you in the right direction for really anything that may be able to help you. And if I can't, of course, I'll point you to some of my contacts that can. That's always my first goal, is to be able to help you in any way possible. So peter@ueconomy.com, peterwolfing.com, and of course, facebook.com/Peter Wolfing.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Peter. I certainly appreciate it.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks, Donovan. Appreciate it. It's been a blessing and an honor for me to be able to give you some information. Have a good day.
I'm sure the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know that I certainly am. Until next time, this is Donovan saying stay limitless.
Bye, everybody.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So go ahead and download it right now, and until then, stay limitless forever.